G'day guys, welcome to another What's for Dinner episode. This week I'm sharing our 7 meals, and some of these meals are fantastic to eat now or put in the freezer for an easy meal later on. Alright, let's get started. The first one we've got is stir-fried beef with bok choy. So first off, he's going to start by chopping up the ingredients. So he's got 4 spring onions here and he's chopping them into short lengths, and then using 3 bok choys, he's going to chop them into roughly 4 cups of bok choy. So this is a new chopping board that we bought on our road trip. It was $10 at Woolworths. Next, he's chopping up 500 grams of beef steak into nice thin slices after he's removed that excess fat. Next, he's making up 1.5 cups of chicken stock, and on the side he's putting in 2 teaspoons of corn flour and 1 tablespoon of black bean sauce. Our tablespoon measurement was in the dishwasher, so he's using the half tablespoon measurement, so that's why there's 2 scoops going in. Then he's crushing up those stock cubes and mixing it all together and making sure to get all that black bean sauce out of the container. Then over to the stove, he's roughly putting 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil and then 2 tablespoons of soy sauce into the pan. He's then adding in 1 teaspoon of garlic, mixing that around together before adding in that 500 grams of steak. Then he's going to mix it until it's brown, but it's not fully cooked. He's removing that from the heat, and then into the same saucepan he's adding in those spring onions, bok choy and bean shoots. So 2 cups worth of bean shoots that have been rinsed, and he's stirring on a high heat for 30 seconds. And then adding the beef back into the pan before adding in that blend of corn flour with the black bean sauce and chicken stock, and stirring on high heat for 1 minute. And then that's it. To serve, he drizzled on some sweet chilli sauce. When I was pregnant, I had gestational diabetes, so I used these cups of rice that were low GI rice, these mixed rice blends. They were quite cheap and they're 45 seconds in the microwave and they're good to go. So we've kept them around because it's so easy to just chuck them in the microwave and there's your rice. And I find by having the mixture of rice and black bean rice and basmati rice, it makes it so much more interesting. This was a really nice dish, and like I said, we put sweet chilli on the top of ours, not our toddlers. This is a really fresh dish. The bok choy was really nice. The next night we're having salmon and pasta mornay. Dave's got a great hack here for chopping up finely the spring onion. So after you've removed the end, twist the spring onion, then you can chop it up really thin. Next, he's juicing a nice fresh lemon. He needs 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. So pouring that tablespoon of lemon juice into a Pyrex container, and then adding in 1 cup of milk. We use full cream milk in our house, and adding in half a cup of sour cream. This is our IKEA spatula, and it's fantastic for removing sour cream from its container as well as the cup measurement. Next, Dave finely chopped up half a cup of fresh parsley. Heading over to the stove, putting in 30 grams of butter, adding in the spring onions and 2 teaspoons of minced garlic and 1 tablespoon of flour, and just mixing that on low heat for 3 minutes before slowly adding in the milk, cream and lemon juice in a jug. Stirring constantly as you combine it, and stir over the medium heat for 3 minutes. Before adding in the salmon. Now the salmon is from roughly a 425 gram can, and it's been drained and flaked, so it's in nice small pieces like this. And adding the parsley into the pan and stirring for 1 minute. While you've been doing this, over there in the background you can see that he's been cooking up 400 grams of small shell pasta, and then he's going to combine that in, turn the hot plate off, and we found it best seasoned with cracked pepper. We had the same thing the next night. And then the night after, we had multigrain toast with avocado, 1 poached egg, and a little bit of parsley on the top. The next meal is pepperoni penne, and this is a great freezer meal. So starting off, Dave's finely chopping 1 onion and then using 1 red and 1 green capsicum that is sliced. The reason we like to use the red and green capsicum is it makes it a really nice bright dish. Next, he's chopping up the pepperoni, so removing the outer skin and then slicing it in half the pepperoni and then really thin slices. And then adding it into the glass bowl. I love how good this glass bowl looks. If you recently watched my Kmart haul, we bought it there for $6 for this particular reason. Next, Dave is slicing up 5 pieces of bacon after he's removed the fat, and he's just chopping it into small pieces. Next, he's adding half a cup of tomato paste to that mixture and 1 teaspoon of garlic. When we originally did this recipe before kids, we'd have 1 teaspoon of chilli as well. Then using an electric fry pan, he's going to fry all those ingredients and allow them to simmer for 30 minutes before turning to a low heat.
Memories all I got, like an afterthought. What we felt and said.
Here he's adding in 2 cups of white wine and he's going to let it simmer for 30 minutes. We just use cask wine. Then turning to a low heat, he's going to add in 1 small bottle of thickened cream and the cooked penne, which is a full packet of penne pasta. And then he's going to cook that for a further 30 minutes. Like I said, this is a fantastic freezer meal. When I was pregnant with our first, we did a big cook up and filled our freezer with freezer meals, and we had about 8 of these in here, and they really do reheat well and they still keep their flavour. Next night we had a super quick meal of bacon, eggs, cheese on multigrain muffins. And lastly, spaghetti bolognese. This is one of my main meals that I tend to make. I make it different every time. So finely chopped up 1 onion and 3 rashers of bacon, and then cooking that before adding in some mince, 500 grams of premium mince. And then normally I use crushed tomatoes, but for some reason we'd bought these whole tomatoes, so we put those in. And to bulk it out, we're using 4 bean mix. Sometimes I'll use green peas. Sometimes I'll use green peas or corn or carrot or green beans, depending on what we've got in the cupboard. In a can is what I tend to add. And then the most important thing to add is this Heinz Big Red tomato soup. This is what gives it really good flavour. And then letting that simmer for 5 minutes before adding in the mixed herbs. So I just go rough here. So I just roughly put in as much as I want, and then some basil leaves, a little bit in the middle, and a little bit of oregano leaves. If I've got fresh basil, I do like to use that, but I didn't have that today. And then mix that all together for a further 10 minutes. I always test it to see what the flavours are like, to see if I need to add more herbs, but this one's good. Then serving on some fresh spaghetti pasta and some mozzarella cheese. Alrighty guys, so favourites from the week. Dave's favourite was the beef stir fry with bok choy, And mine and our 2-year-old's was the spaghetti bolognese. Thanks heaps for watching, guys. Take care. Bye.